Now, it's kind of wild to think about, but back in NHL 22, I did my first ever 10-year rebuild, and the team I rebuilt was the Anaheim Ducks. And back on NHL 22, I was talking about how the Anaheim Ducks have a pretty solid young core, and over the next couple years, they're going to turn into a pretty solid team. Here we are in NHL 25, and the Anaheim Ducks are still one of the worst teams in the entire league. I don't know how that's happened, but this team over the past 3 years has literally not rebuilt this team in the slightest. Like, yeah, you've picked up some nice pieces in Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier since then. Mason McTavish has developed into an 86 overall. Trevor Zegras is an 84. Honestly, I think he is what he is at this point. Troy Terry, he's a decent sniper for you, but he's no superstar. When it comes to the defense, that's absolutely cooked here. However, Mint Yukov, he's going to be a good defenseman in the future. Zellweger has some potential. And then when it comes to goaltending, John Gibson's not going to be the answer long term. I think we all know that by this point. 3 years left on his contract. He only has a 10-team no trade, so more than likely we're going to be trading him away pretty quick here. And I guess the real question is, Dostal, can you step up and be the starting goaltender that we need here? Can you be the goaltender that leads Anaheim back to a Stanley Cup? I think it's possible, but honestly, I'm not too sure right now. I mean, granted, I do think you're actually a pretty solid goaltender, but the team in front of you is atrocious, so I mean, you only can do so much here. So in year number one, we're going to make some trades here. I'm not going to be completely changing the entire team, but we will make some moves. This Anaheim Ducks team has a lot of potential, but can they live up to that potential? That's the real question. So right off the bat, we got to make a big time deal here. John Gibson and Cam Fowler are both going to be traded away. We're going to bring in Provorov. We're going to eventually sign him. He's going to be one of the defensemen long term for us. Gavin Brindley's also going to be brought in. He'll be a good bottom six playmaker. Tarasov's going to be brought in to be the backup goaltender. We need Gabranson just to make the contracts work, and then Matejchuk's going to be another young defenseman. This is a huge deal completed with the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're going to have to go with some draft capital and probably a couple young players, but I think this deal is going to work out for us in the future. Now, the Anaheim Ducks do have a handful of assets to work with, so we're going to start with this third round pick. I don't think the third round is going to be quite enough. Maybe a couple third round picks will be. So here's the Ducks third rounder for 2026, and then hopefully that's going to make the difference. They're still saying no to that one. Maybe a fourth rounder. I'll give you Boston's fourth rounder, and I believe this should be enough, so I'm going to send this package over. They're saying no, but we're a lot closer than we think. Like, I guess the real question is, how fast is this rebuild going to happen? Because if I trade our 2026 second round pick, I think this could be enough to get this deal done. They're going to be saying no to that. I'll give you a third rounder as well. It's going to be Toronto's third round pick, and then we're going to be able to bring all these assets to the team. So this is a big time deal for us. We're freeing up a bunch of money in this deal as well. For the direction this team's headed, this is the right move. So with Mason McTavish being as young as he is, I want to make sure we can lock him down for as long as possible. So we're going to be looking at an 8-year deal at $6.9 million, and then the final 3 years of that contract, he's going to have a no movement clause. It's going to be a full no movement clause, but I'm perfectly fine with that. When it comes to Ivan Provorov, this is going to be a great deal as well. It's going to be 4.7 for the next 5, and with the way defensemen develop in this game, Bro's probably going to have franchise potential in 2 years. Robbie Fabry, this is an incredible deal for a bottom 6 piece such as yourself. We're going to do 2.4 for the next 2. Dostal, I believe you can be the starting goaltender in the future for us, so how about we do something like this? It's going to be 2.8 for the next 2 years, and then in 2 years we'll give you your big time deal. But Tarasov, if you want to sign a long-term deal as well, I wouldn't be against that. So with Tarasov, how about we do 1.7 for the next 3 years, and maybe if you develop in time, you could be the starting goaltender. We're going to be choosing one of these two guys right here. Frank Vetrano, I think this is a pretty fair deal for you. It's going to be 5 years at 4.2 million, and we're not going to have any clauses in this deal, so if we do have to trade you away, it will be pretty easy. So Anaheim has a lot of deals they have to give out. Lundstrom's going to be the next one. It's going to be 1.5 million for the next 3 years. Leeson, I think we might let you walk. I mean, you're probably going to ask for a pretty cheap deal as well. You only want 1.6 million, but we're going to hold off on that. Vakananen, I see the potential in you being the third pairing defenseman for us, so how about 1.3 million for the next 2? And then Sam Colangelo, I'm going to do 1.2 million for the next 4 years. You're 79 overall at 22 years old. I'll have you playing the AHL this season. The next season you'll jump into the bottom 6. Now this will be the final trade before we head into year number 1. So Fox is going to be joining the team here. He's going to play some bottom 6 minutes, 82 overall. But the main piece I want in this deal, Jake Neighbors. We're going to turn Jake Neighbors into an absolute superstar. We're going to give up Gauthier, a third rounder, and Leeson. This is a really good deal for us. We're absolutely finessing the St. Louis Blues here, but they want a bit more. Now when teams want a little bit more, you already know what we have to offer. We got to start with the lucrative 7th round pick. And is that going to be enough in this deal? They're going to be saying no to that because they want 2 7th round picks. Like, no matter what's going on, the lucrative 7th round pick will always make the difference. And if one lucrative 7th isn't enough, then 2 certainly will be. So this is what the team's going to be looking like for year number 1. Leo Carlsson, Cutter Gauthier, Troy Terry on the first line, Frank Vetrano, Trevor Zegras, Mason McTavish on the second line. Jake Neighbors and Robbie Fabry are going to play some big third line minutes alongside Ryan Strome. We have ourselves a decent forward core here. The only thing we're missing is a true superstar. The defense is a little cooked here. I'm not going to lie. Like, this isn't a good defense by any means. And goaltending definitely needs a lot of work here. But Dostal, we're going to give you some time to develop. And then by year 3, we're going to be dominating the league. So we're going to go ahead and simulate up to the trade deadline. We'll make some moves accordingly. But while we simulate to the trade deadline, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 70K. Just do it. You're watching the content already. You might as well subscribe. So I don't think we should be overly surprised the Anaheim Ducks are one of the worst teams in the entire league. 27th with a 24, 28, and 10 record. Technically, we should be a lot worse than this, but you know what? Those 10 overtime losses are giving us a lot more points than we probably should have. Our offense is atrocious here, and the defense even worse, but I think we all knew this heading into the season. Like, realistically, this is not a good Anaheim Ducks team, but you know what? We got some young guys that are going to develop, and we'll be in a really good spot in 3 years. Troy Terry, 53 points, I can live with that. Leo Carlson, 44, not bad. Trevor Zegras, 40 points. Not gonna lie, you're one of the guys I'm really contemplating trading. 86 overall, you got 4 X factors, but you can't really step up in these big games. Mason McTavish has been okay, Cutter Gaucher has been okay. No one's necessarily been great on this team. Both of our goaltenders have been mid. Tarasov, you're actually having the better season of the two, but you know what? I don't think it really matters too much here. Dostal, I think you've played against the tougher teams. That's why you have an 899 to 346 right now, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna make some small changes here. We're gonna trade a couple players away. We'll try to make some moves here. And one of the guys I'm looking at trading away, Ryan Strome. Now, barring what we can get for him, we're probably going to make a deal. So on top of that first round pick and third round pick, would you be willing to give me Christian Kyrou as well? We're probably going to have to include something in this deal, or do I just take out the third round pick? Like, can we get a first rounder and Christian Kyrou for Ryan Strome here? They're going to be saying no to that. How many picks do I have to give up? Because I'm willing to trade a couple picks away if we can get Christian Kyrou and that first rounder, so I'll give up a 6th round pick here. I'm going to send that over. They're saying no. How about 2 6th rounders? Actually, how about I give you this 5th round pick from the Tampa Bay Lightning, because that can be enough to get this deal done. So we're getting a first from the Dallas Stars and Christian Kyrou. That was a good move. Now, Ryan Strome was really the last guy we had to sell here. I mean, technically we could give up Alex Killorn, but you know what? We have to make sure that we can reach the salary cap floor, so we're going to hold on to him. So with the season wrapping up here, I'm not really too surprised with the Anaheim Ducks going to be finishing 26th in the entire league, one of the worst teams, a 32, 37, and 13 record. But we have to really talk about how bad the Pacific Division was, because we finished 5th in the Pacific. Calgary was worse than us, Seattle was worse than us, San Jose was worse than us. We finished with 32 wins, and we're 5th in the Pacific. That's wild. When it comes to our individual performances here, no surprise, no one really looked great this season. Troy Terry was mid, Leo Carlson was mid, Trevor Zegras was mid. Nobody here had a good year. And then when it comes to goaltending, both of these guys were terrible. No surprises there. But you know what? Things are going to be turning around next season. The Tampa Bay Lightning are Stanley Cup champions. We're going to get the first overall pick here. We're going to get a medium elite potential player, but things are about to turn around. We're going to head to the draft here. We're going to jump up to the first overall pick. Never mind, that's not really happening. We're dropping to the 8th overall, but that's perfectly fine. We're still going to get a medium elite potential player here. We're going to do something that Anaheim Ducks fans haven't seen in a while, progressively get better. That's right, next season we're going to be better than this season, and Anaheim Ducks fans haven't seen that in a while. So with the 8th overall pick, we're going to be getting the player I was hoping for. We're going to be securing Roger McQueen here, a power forward with medium elite potential. We're going to give him a couple more years to develop, but once he does, he's going to be a beast for us. So I went ahead and did a bit of a negotiation with Jake Neighbors, and this is going to be a great deal for us. We're going to be locking him down for the next 4 years at $2.5 million, an absolute steal. Brian Dumoulin, we're going to be letting you walk. Foxa, you're going to be walking as well. McGinn, didn't really plan on bringing you back. A majority of these guys here are probably just going to be walking. Unless you have a bunch of trade value or are going to start progressing, you'll be leaving the team. Alright, so we have a lot of medium elite potential players here that are looking for deals, and hopefully we're going to be able to get some reasonable deals done. We're going to start with Mint Yukov here. We're not going to be doing 5 years. I guess we're only going to be doing 4, but 4 years at $5.6 million, that's a good deal. Moving on over to Trevor Zegras. He's one guy I'm not 100% sure if I want to keep on this team, and I'm still not 100% sure with Trevor Zegras. But you know what? We're still going to get a deal done here, and if we're going to do sub $6 million, I'm perfectly fine with keeping him on this team. We're going to do 5.8 for the next 6. Leo Carlson, he's going to be an incredibly important piece of this team in the future. He's asking for a bit of a bag here, but we can definitely get something done. So how about we do 7.1 for the next 4 years, then we're going to move over to Cutter Gaucher. Now this is the reason why we made so many trades. We got to make sure that we're going to be locking these guys down to long-term deals. We're going to be looking at 4 years with Cutter Gaucher, $7 million. How about we do 7.3? $7.3 million should be enough to keep him on this team for the future. And then moving over to Zellweger, what's he going to be looking for? He's going to want a bag as well. This isn't nearly as bad as I thought. We're going to do 3.9 million for the next 5. So we've got a majority of the important pieces locked down. That's what we were looking to do here. Gavin Brindley, I can see you being a bottom 6 guy for us in the future, so 1.9 million for the next 4 is going to be an incredible deal. Lacombe, I think you're going to be a bottom 6 player for us, and you know what? You're not looking for too hefty of a contract. We'll do 1.6 million for the next 4. And then Christian Kyrou, I know for a fact you can turn into a superstar defenseman. I've seen it happen once before, so we're going to do 1.5 million for the next 3 years. So I think we're going to make one move in free agency, and that's going to be bringing Daniel Sprong to the team. We're going to do 2.8 for the next 3 years. For a bottom 6 player, that's actually a pretty solid deal, and he's going to be accepting on the spot. You'll love to see it. So we got to make a big splash here. The offense has to be better, the defense has to be better, and you know what? A guy like Seth Jarvis is definitely going to help the offense here. Of course, he's going to play on the top 6 here. He's going to score some big time goals for us. Frank Vatrano's given up in this deal. One of our young defensemen is also going to be given up in this deal. But we're bringing a guy like Seth Jarvis to the team. It's worth the risk. I mean, it's not really a risk. We know that Seth Jarvis is going to be a massive upgrade for this team. He's going to help us a ton. I'll throw a 3rd round pick into this this deal. That's going to be enough to bring Seth Jarvis onto the team, but we should make some more moves. Now, so far, everyone's accepted their deals except for Trevor Zegras, so it looks like we're going to be doing another 3-year deal with him. Based on what his contract interest is, I think we can get him for $6.4 million. So I'm going to offer that over. More than likely, he's going to be saying yes to that one, but we still have to improve the defense a little bit. So if there's one Bruins defenseman that you know I love, it's Brandon Carlo. Not only is this man an amazing defensive defenseman, but he's one of the best offensive defensemen in the league. If you know, you know. So Carlo, I'm going to bring you to the team here. You're going to play some big time minutes for us. Now the team's in a much better position this year. Leo Carlson, Cutter Gaucher, and Troy Terry on the first line getting a +2 boost. Seth Jarvis, Trevor Zegras, and Mason McTavish holding it down the second line. The bottom six is looking really good here. We do need to get a fourth line centerman. We're not going to worry about that now. Defensively, we're way better than we were last season. The only question mark on this team, goaltending. Dostal, can you be the guy to an 83 overall? You have low lead potential now. You have to live up to the hype this season. You have to prove you can be the guy. And you know what? I think this team can make the playoffs. I think we can make a deep playoff push. And if we're able to do that in year number 2, this team's certainly going to be winning a handful of Stanley Cups. So it's amazing what can happen in just one season. The Anaheim Ducks, second in the entire league, a 39-22-4 record. We've completely flipped the script here. Although the offense isn't elite, our defense is looking amazing at 2.75 goals allowed per game. We just got to get that offense going. Once the offense starts scoring goals, this team's going to be unstoppable. Cutter Gaucher's leading the way. He's got 58 points. Troy Terry's got 48 so far. Mint Yukov's looking amazing, 47 points, up to an 89 overall. Bro's about to turn to a superstar. Leo Carlson's looking great. We got some great scoring depth here. Seth Jarvis, I'm a bit disappointed in you, not gonna lie. I was expecting more from you, but you know what? You're holding it down the second line. You're looking great so far. Dostal, you're looking amazing as well. 83 overall, still that low lead potential, but 28 wins, 3 shouts, and 919 to 272. You've proved that you can be the guy for us. Now, based on what's available here and where this team's sitting, I don't think we're gonna make any moves, but maybe we will. Boone Jenner on the fourth line honestly isn't the worst thing in the world, and I don't think we would have to give up too much. However, the only problem is he's not going to fit on the fourth line, so we're not going to make that deal. The Anaheim Ducks aren't going to make any trades here. We're going to rock with the team we have. We're currently second in the entire league. Don't want to make any trades to mess anything up here. Like, currently we're looking great, and let's keep on looking great. So you remember how we were really good at the trade deadline? Then I decided I'm not going to make any trades. What could possibly go wrong? I'm pretty sure we lost like 90% of the games to finish out the season. A 45-31-6 record isn't the best, but you know what? At least we know the young guys are headed in the right direction here. And then over the offseason, we'll make some big moves. Because scoring is clearly an issue on this team. We have great scoring depth, but the top players just aren't scoring here. Troy Terry, 34 goals isn't the end of the world. Cutter Gaucher had 24 goals. Leo Carlson, 26 goals. I mean, that's not too bad. Trevor Zegras, though, Seth Jarvis, you guys got to be better. Like, plain and simple, the second line has to be better here. Dostal, you were pretty solid, and I'm expecting big things from you in the postseason. The Anaheim Ducks making the playoffs in year number 2. I don't think we expected that. Yeah, the team was looking really good at the beginning of the season, but let's face it, we were one of the worst teams last season, and now we're in the playoffs, finishing 9th in the entire league. Anaheim's looking to create some noise, so we're certainly going to have our hands full in matchup number 1. We're taking on the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to be exchanging the first 2 games. In game number 3, we're going to be losing that one. The simulation, man, I just can't get used to it. Alright, we're down 3-1 in the series. We just got dominated in game number 4. That's not what we're looking to do here. We're off to game number 5. This one better be a lot closer. Anaheim, you got to win this game. It's going to be a scoreless first period. In the second period, Carl Garland's going to be picking up a big goal. Where's the offense? Where's the defense? It's all disappeared. Never mind. Provorov's going to be that guy for us. Provorov's going to step up in the big time moments, and he's going to keep us alive in this series. No, but seriously, Provorov's picking up 2 big goals. Our fourth line centerman's going to pick up a massive goal here. Where's the rest of the team? Where's Trevor Zegras? Where's Seth Jarvis? Where's Troy Terry? Where's all these important pieces? Cutter Gaucher is going to be picking up a goal in the first period. TJ Oshie's picking up a goal in the second. We're trailing 1 goal heading into the third period. And in the third period, finally, the big time players are stepping up here. But can we continue to step up heading into overtime here? It doesn't look like it. TJ Oshie's going to bury the winner. We really lost this to TJ Oshie. TJ Oshie at like 37 years old at this point. I mean, shout out to TJ Oshie, still dominating the league. But yeah, 37-year-old TJ Oshie's going to take us out. Ain't no way. So the Anaheim Ducks just couldn't get anything going. After stealing game number 1, we dropped 3 straight, being absolutely dominated in game number 4. We would respond in game 5, but game 6, we just couldn't score in the big time moments. We saw a lot of progression from this team though. Shout out to the Rangers, they're winning the Stanley Cup, and I think we're headed in the right direction here. However, I think we are going to have to make some tough decisions. Trevor Zegras, where do you really fit on this team? Seth Jarvis, I mean, you're actually really good during the postseason. Both of you guys were amazing during the postseason, so maybe we don't rush to anything right now. Seth Jarvis, 87 overall. He's got 3 X factors. Trevor Zegras, I think he's probably going to be up to an 89 by the beginning of next season. Provorov, you're an 88 overall on a really good contract. You probably have a ton of trade value right now, and we might want to utilize that. But at the end of the day here, can we really win with Dostal? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. 84 overall. Is he going to turn into that superstar goaltender we need? I have my questions about him. So I've been concerned about the goaltending for a long time, but not anymore. We're getting a medium league potential goaltender who's also a gem in the first round here. Bro's going to turn into a star, no question about it. And on top of the medium league potential goaltender, we're also getting a medium top 6 potential forward. When it comes to the re-sign phase, we have $11 million to work with, but you know what? We don't have to worry about bringing anyone back here. When it comes to goaltenders, we don't have to bring anyone back. Whether we want to make some free agent signings or trades, we're going to be able to do so. So we have a couple extensions to give out. One of them is going to Brandon Carlo, of course. We have to keep this man on the team, and this is an incredible deal. We're not even contemplating this whatsoever. 5.7 for the next 3 years. Carlo's going to be sticking around. Alex Killorn is your final season with the team. We're just going to let you walk. We actually might try to trade you. Barring how much trade value you have, you might be getting shipped out here. Roger McQueen will hold off one more year, then we'll give you your entry-level contract. Vaakanen, I wouldn't mind keeping you around long-term. What are you going to be looking for? 2.3 million? How about we do 2.2 million for the next 3 and you play some third pairing minutes for us? So Lucas Dostal, you're going to be looking for an extension here, and we can definitely do a long-term deal. We're going to do 5 years at probably 2.7 million or something. We can get a long-term deal done here. We're going to do 2.8 for the next 5 years. I'll be keeping him around. He has low start potential. He's an 84 overall. Can I trust an 84 overall goaltender to win us multiple Stanley Cups here? I think I can. Now, Beckett Seneca, I'm going to be completely honest here. Once you finally jump into the lineup, I don't think you're going to have the greatest fit here. So I'm going to send you over to the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to bring in Alex Newhook. He's going to be a good third-line centerman for us. We're probably going to have to include a 7th-round pick in this deal, but we got to get this deal done. We got to improve the bottom 6 a little bit. We have to start scoring a few more goals, and Alex Newhook, he's definitely going to help with that. And then the plan was to give Alex Newhook an extension, but I don't really know if I can do this. Can I do 4.7 for the next 2? We're going to have to hold off on that deal. Now, season 3 is a big one for the team. Leo Carlson, Cutter Gaucher, Troy Terry, Seth Jarvis, Trevor Zegras, Mason McTavish. This is an elite top 6. We're going to be scoring goals this season. The bottom 6 is looking great as well. But if you thought this team wasn't good enough, Mint Yukov, 92 overall. He's looking like an absolute beast. Zellweger's an 85. Provorov's an 89. There's nothing going to be holding this team back this season except for goaltending. But you know what? I believe in Dostal. This is his final season to prove himself, though. If he plays like absolute crap this season and we lose in the first round again because he didn't perform, we will be trading him and getting a better goaltender. So we don't need to look at our record. This is all we have to see. Trevor Zegras is leading the way with 16 goals and 33 assists for 49 points. 49 points is leading this team at the trade deadline. You see the plus minuses. Clearly this team's not performing. I don't know what's going on. Lucas Dostal, you're posting a 910 and 271. Tarasov's playing way too many games to be posting an 891 and a 351. Bro's been awful. Lucas Dostal's also up to an 86 overall. I got nothing to say. I really have nothing to say about this team. What's going on? Like, there's no reason we should be performing this bad. This team should be much better than this. The entire top 6 has just been bad, plain and simple. I don't know if it's because we have bad players or it's because we have a bad coach. I went ahead and got a better coach, but still that just doesn't seem to be the answer here. What do we do? Also, I guess you did see the record through all that yapping. 28, 23, and 11. This team's just been bad, but I don't want to be sellers here. I don't want to be shipping out half the team. I think we just have to ride out this season and reevaluate things, because like we have some great pieces. Mint Yukov's up to a 92 overall. Look at that trade value. Cutter Gaucher's great. Provorov's great. Trevor Zegras is great. Look at all the amazing talents on this team. Brandon Carlo, 87 overall. Zellweger, an 85. Alex Newhook was brought to the team. He's playing some bottom 6 minutes for us, but this team just can't perform right now. Jake Neighbors, 84 overall. What's he doing? 9 goals, 11 assists. You have to be better than that. This team just hasn't been good enough. Now, we're not going to make any trades here because I don't want to rush anything, but we will be bringing in a new coach for next season. Our team should be way better than this. So this season was an absolute embarrassment for the Anaheim Ducks. But you know what? The lone positive is we somehow made it into the playoffs with a 38, 31, and 13 record. That shouldn't have happened. Our offense is atrocious, so we're making changes next season. The defense is really good, though. Do we have one of the best defenses in the entire league? Yes, we do. We have the 4th best defense, but probably the 4th worst offense. Like, this team just cannot score goals to save their lives. I don't know why. And the perfect person to show that off, Seth Jarvis leading the way with 68 points. 68 points led this team right here. Dostal, he was great, though. 86 overall, 30 wins, 1 shutout, a 910 and 270. Bro was great. The rest of the team wasn't. So with all that being said, we got a tough matchup in the first round. We have got the Dallas Stars to take on. Honestly, I'm expecting a first round exit. But now that I've said that, I expect us to make the Stanley Cup final. So we won game number 1 in overtime. If that's not setting a statement, I don't know what is. Watch the offense immediately wake up here, and then we're going to average like 4 goals per game or something. We won the first 2 games. We're going to be dropping game number 3, moving into game 4. This is going to be a big one, and we're going to be scoring 7 goals. Ain't no way we just finally decide, oh yeah, we're going to start scoring goals, and it's just going to happen in the postseason. We're immediately going to be allowing 5 goals, moving into game number 6. We have to win this one right here, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're off to the second round. We don't deserve to be in the second round. So every single matchup is going to become even more difficult for us. We got the Colorado Avalanche up next, and if we somehow win this matchup, we're going to be taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Now, although the Colorado Avalanche are the clear favorites, we're scoring 10 goals in game number 1. I don't need to see anything else here. We're winning a Stanley Cup. We have a 3-1 series lead moving into game number 5 here. This is ridiculous. Why are we all of a sudden just scoring goals? We scored 10 goals in game 1, 5 goals in game 5. It doesn't make sense. Now, I told y'all if we made to the conference finals, we were going to be taking on the Edmonton Oilers, and that's exactly what's happening here. Connor McDavid's certainly going to be a tough task for us. But it's not even like we only have to worry about Connor McDavid. We scored 6 goals in game number 1. I don't care if we lose this series. Why can't this team just score goals all of a sudden? We went the entire year being one of the worst offensive teams, and here we are in the conference finals, somehow made it to the conference finals, and now we're scoring goals. We've exchanged goals in game number 5 here. The third period is going to decide this one, and in the third period, we're going to be folding. Edmonton's picking up 4 goals here. We shouldn't have made it to the conference finals. This is a massive success for where we were during the regular season. We didn't deserve to make it to this point. Offensively, of course, we fell apart in the last 3 games here. Up until this point in the postseason, though, we were one of the best offensive teams, and that really makes no sense. So this is how you know that we're playing NHL 25, because obviously nothing realistic is going to happen here. The Anaheim Ducks, a team that was so incredibly bad during the regular season, makes it all the way to the conference finals, loses to the Edmonton Oilers, who lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs, meaning the Toronto Maple Leafs are Stanley Cup champions. Yeah, that's not realistic in the slightest. Offensively, we scored here, and it makes no sense. I can't get over the fact that offensively, we were just a really good team. Lucas Dostal's dropped to an 85 overall because that makes sense, and he was really good in between the pipes. We're changing coaches over the offseason. We're bringing in an offensive-oriented coach. We are scoring goals next season. All right, so we're off to the greatest start imaginable. This is the worst draft I've ever had in my life. This medium bottom 6 potential player is literally the best thing I got. I got 3 AHL potential players. This has never happened before. I've never been this bad drafting. So right now we have a ridiculous amount of cap space, 19.9 million, and we already have all the important pieces signed. Alex Newhook, I'm going to give you 3.5 million for the next 2 years. You're going to rejoin the team. I don't think I'm going to sign any of these rookies. Maybe this guy. I mean, it's Kavasha. We have to bring Kavasha to the team. No question about it. I'll sign him. These other guys, don't really care too much about. Alex Killorn, you're going to walk here. This 25-year-old, he's going to walk as well. And when it comes to goaltending, nobody we need to sign. So we got ourselves give or take $16 million to work with. So we made a couple moves during the re-sign phase, but nothing major, and we're not going to make anything major here. Lundstrom's returning for the next 2 years here, and I think we're looking at $2.3 million. I think that's a fair deal for him. And then Daniel Sprong, you've been a good bottom 6 piece for us, but I'm not giving you 3.1, so we're just going to ride out your contract. And of course, when we have a bunch of money we can work with, $17 million, let's make some big free agent signings. There is nothing of value here. Mark Stone, 87 overall, maybe I could go for him, but he's 35 years old. The next player, Patrick Kane, 38 years old, David Perron, 39 years old, Matt Zuccarello, 39 years old, Philip Deneau, 34 years old. Where are the young bloods out here? We need a couple of youngins, but apparently we're not going to be getting that here. I guess we're not going to make any free agent signings because there's nothing we can get here. But there is one thing we can do. Fire our coach and bring in a better one because bro sucks. No, I've gone ahead and made a terrible decision. I've decided to give this team one last chance. I'm going to give this team right here one last chance to figure it out. And the only reason I'm giving them one more opportunity here is because I brought in a new coach. He's offensive oriented. This team should be able to score goals. Defensively, we're unstoppable. We just can't score goals here. That's going to change this season. We're going to find the back of the net. Now, I might have slightly lied. We're going to run a majority of the same team. However, we do have to make one trade. Lucas Dostal is going to be traded over to the Devils. We're getting a second rounder as well as a prospect, but this isn't the only move we're doing because we're going to flip these assets. Because now 3 second-round picks are going to be sent over to the Nashville Predators, but we're not picking up UC Saros. Instead, we're going to be picking up Gabriel Degg because he's currently the backup behind Saros. That can't be happening. Gabriel Degg, welcome to the team. So on paper, this deal is going to look very confusing, but we're picking up Danforth from the Rangers. He's 34 years old. However, I think he has a better chance of fitting on the bottom 6 than Sprong because Sprong doesn't fit there whatsoever. So Danforth, you're going to play some bottom 6 minutes for us. All right, boys, we really don't have too much to talk about here. Score goals, ask questions later. I don't care how many goals you allow this season because I know we're going to be good defensively. You guys have to score goals. We have a goal goal scoring team here. We have a couple goal scoring defensemen, and I know for a fact this team can step up in the big time moments. Gabriel Deg, you are an 89 overall. You're going to lead us to greatness. The Anaheim Ducks are about to finish top 5 in the entire league. I'm calling it right now. Now, I saw this team winning games, and I knew I couldn't stop at the trade deadline. We had to get to the end of the season, and we actually did good here. The Anaheim Ducks performed 6th in the entire league, a 51-27-4 record. I love it, but the offense still sucks. I think we just have to trade some of our players away. I don't think we can produce offensively with the guys we have. Granted, we're the best defensive team in the league, 2.6 goals allowed per game, but we can score still. Our offense is still really mid here, and we're going to see that in the stats. Trevor Zegras leading the way with only 78 points here. Seth Jarvis 74, Mason McTavish 68, Leo Carlson 68, Cutter Gaucher 59. I don't know why these top guys just can't perform a bit better. I mean, Jake Neighbors is a third line player. You're picking up 47 points. Troy Terry, I think you're on the first line and you're only getting 9 more points than him. That shouldn't be happening. That just really shouldn't be happening here. When it comes to goaltending, Gabriel Deg, a fantastic season, still sitting at 89 overall. You're the future of this team. The Anaheim Ducks are looking amazing. We got the Vancouver Canucks in the first round. It's time for this team to go on a bit of a run. So the Ducks really have to set a statement. That's exactly what they're doing. They picked up 6 goals in game number 1 and game number 2. This team's offense always wakes up in the postseason. Doesn't really make any sense to me, but you know what? We're rolling and we're taking Vancouver out in 5 games. So we got past the Vancouver Canucks and now we have our toughest task, the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's safe to say whoever wins this matchup right here is going to be bringing home the Stanley Cup. So this is a big time matchup for the Anaheim Ducks, winning game number 1 because of our incredible defense, but we're dropping 2 straight after that. Make it 3 straight games. You know what? Things are going right for the team. We got game number 5. We have to make a 3-1 series comeback. Unfortunately, we just ran to the best team in the entire NHL in the Edmonton Oilers. Not much you can do about that one. Trevor Zegras is going to pick up the first goal of the game though. In the second, Chatfield's going to be picking up one for the Oilers. A tie game entering the third period. I'm kind of expecting Connor McDavid to show up here, but he won't show up in the third period. He'll probably show up in overtime. Hold on, wait a minute. Mason McTavish, an OT winner. We're still alive. So the boys are still alive with that massive overtime victory. Can we keep it going here? We're going to be exchanging goals in the first period. It's 2 goals apiece. Moving into the second period, it's going to be a scoreless one. So the third period is going to decide this game once again, unless we go to overtime. And I don't think we're going to overtime here. Never mind, yes we are. I saw all the orange here and I just assumed one team scored a majority of the goals. I guess not. We're off to overtime yet again here, but Drysdale is finally going to have an answer. We're going to be falling in the second round yet again here. We just can't get past these top teams. Now, I told y'all whoever would win that match between the Anaheim Ducks and Edmonton Oilers would win the Stanley Cup, and that's exactly what's happening. Edmonton's coming down on top, taking the Rangers down in 5 games. So if we could only get past those Edmonton Oilers, we'd be Stanley Cup champions right now, but we weren't able to do it. Trevor Zegras, he showed up once again during the postseason. Seth Jarvis looked great. I just don't understand it. This team doesn't show up during the regular season, but offensively, we completely wake up during the postseason. Gabriel Deg, incredible numbers here. We just lost to a better team. Plain and simple. So I think the future of this team's pretty bright. I mean, we lost to the Edmonton Oilers and they were a 61-win team. Not too much you can do about that. But this team's showing a lot of promise. We have amazing defense here. We should improve the offense a little bit over the offseason. We're going to make a couple changes to the bottom 6. But really, I like what we're building here. Because for some reason, even though we have a terrible offense during the regular season, and the postseason, it just immediately steps up and everyone looks way better. So yeah, I don't really care what the regular season numbers look like. As long as we get into the postseason, we can compete. So after that disappointing loss in the second round, we're immediately making some big moves here in the draft. We're going to be securing a medium top 6 potential playmaker. Alright, this guy might be a gem, but he's projected to have AHL low top 6 potential. So yeah, what could possibly go wrong here? Low top 6 potential, I mean, that's way better than I thought it would be. And I guess we're going to get another gem here. Russell Robertson, welcome to the team. Starting off as a 62 overall. Now, Gabriel Deg, although you're our goaltender for the future, we did get a mediumly potential goaltender in the draft, but you don't have to worry. You're definitely the guy for us. Now, low-key, I don't mind this pick. With the 184th overall, we're getting a lowly potential defenseman, but he's starting at 60 overall, so that's not too bad as long as he develops a little bit. So the re-sign phase is going to be really simple here. All these guys are going to be walking. When we go over to goaltenders, Irving's up to a 74 overall at 20 years old. So yeah, we'll give him his entry-level contract. He'll spend 1 season in the AHL, then he'll move up to be our backup goaltending. Tarasov, what can we do for a contract for you? $800K for 1 year. I'll certainly do that. Alright, Trevor Zegras, every single year we sit down with you and we do a 3-year contract. Can we do longer than 3 years here? I'm fine with longer than 3 years, but not for $10 million. Is Trevor Zegras going to be a key part of this team's future? Like, I'm being completely honest here. I'm willing to trade this man away, and we might have to. Like, we're going to have to make some difficult decisions here. Jake Neighbors, I'd love to bring you back. You're great for the bottom 6. What are you looking for? $5.4 million. Okay, we cannot do that. Jake Neighbors, can you play in the top 6? I will play you in the top 6 if I can. You can play in the first line. Okay, we might make some moves here. Alright, so when it comes to making trades here, it's very difficult to make moves because it's actually hard to upgrade our team. Like, Cutter Gaucher's an 89 overall, Leo Carlson's an 88 overall, Seth Jarvis an 89, Trevor Zegras an 89. Like, we have a lot of really good pieces on this team, time. But if we were to trade one player, I'm kind of looking at Cutter Gaucher. And the only reason I'm saying that is because bro really didn't play that good last season. Yeah, he was plus 32, but he only had 59 points. Like, we're paying Jake Neighbors considerably less, and bro was looking amazing out there. He picked up 47 points. So are we better off with just moving Jake Neighbors to the first line than Mason McTavish down to the second, and then trading Cutter Gaucher away? Like, Mason McTavish was great in the top 6, 33 goals, 35 helpers for 68 points. Bro was looking good out there, and I want to keep him on the team. Cutter Gaucher, though, are you really worth $7.3 million? And then I have to give you an extension next season, and you're probably going to be looking for $10 million. So I think we're going to trade Cutter Gaucher. So here's what I'm looking at. Cutter Gaucher, Trevor Zegras, both are going to be traded over to Utah. We're bringing in Logan Cooley and 2 young prospects. Logan Cooley's going to play some top 6 minutes for us. This is an absolute steal we're getting done here, and we still have a lot of cap space to work with. So let's make sure that we get these important deals done. We're moving on to Jake Neighbors. It's going to be 5 years of probably $5 million. I'm kind of hoping to do less than $5 million, but a 5x5 is pretty good for him. Matejchuk, you're a good third pairing defenseman for us, but I can't do $4.5 million. That's just not going to happen here. Colangelo, you might play some bottom 6 minutes this season, so $900K for the next 2. That's perfect for me. And then Christian Kyrou, hopefully we can do a pretty cheap deal with you. What are you looking for? $800K? Like, if we were to hypothetically do a 5-year deal at $2 million, that's way longer than what you're looking for, but $2 million to be a third pairing defenseman, that's a steal. Now, out of all the extensions we have to give out, this is probably the most important. It's going to be Gabriel Dag, and we're going to be looking at $7.3 million for the next couple of years. Actually, let's make that $7.5 million for the next 6. They'll keep him around for the rest of the rebuild. Bro's an 89 overall. Look at all those X factors. He's going to be a superstar. So you have to pick up some guys for the bottom 6 here. Oscar Sundqvist, I think you're going to have a good fit on the 4th line, so we'll bring you to the team you're accepting immediately. And then although we have $25 million, there's very few players we can actually pick up here that are going to fit on our bottom 6. So I don't think we're really going to be making as many deals as you would have thought. Like William Karlsson, we have enough money for you. Pontus Holmberg, we have enough money for you, but you don't fit the right role on this team. I mean, Voronkov, you're an 83 overall, you're only looking for $1 million. We could probably do a multi-year deal. I'll do 2 years at $1.2 million. Whether or not you fit on this team, it doesn't matter. That's a good deal. So Bystad, I think you have a better fit on the bottom 6 than Lundstrom here. So we're going to pick you up as well as a 3rd round pick. This is a real easy deal to get done. We're going to be helping the bottom 6 a ton here. So I don't really understand it. I don't know how it's possible. One of the very few players that can play bottom 6 minutes for us and is a sniper is Connor Bedard. Almost everyone else doesn't fit on the 3rd line. This guy right here can fit on the bottom 6, except we have to pay him $10 million. Nick Robertson doesn't. Holtz doesn't, JJ Peterka doesn't, Lecker doesn't. None of these guys fit on the bottom 6. It's impossible to find a player other than Connor Bedard and that young player on St. Louis that will fit on the bottom 6. And I don't know why. So after scouring the entire NHL, there is no players in the league that fit on our bottom 6. So with that being said, why not spend a bit of money in free agency here? Pontus Holmberg, I'll give you $3.5 million for the next 3 years. You're going to be joining the team here. He's accepting on the spot, so he'll be a good bottom 6 playmaker for us. And you know what? We got to bring in another sniper here. Johnny T, you got 2 more good years left in you. So here's $3.9 million for the next 2. And if you're wondering why I haven't gone crazy with deals and I'm always leaving like $20 million in cap space, it's because 3 years from now, we have to re-sign everyone. Mint Yukov's going to need a deal. Logan Cooley's going to need a deal. Provorov's going to need a deal. Troy Terry needs a deal. Carlo needs a deal. Leo Carlsson needs a deal. 90% of this team is going to need a deal. So we're going to give all these guys extensions next offseason. And then after I give them extensions, then we'll know how much money we actually have. So here's the new look Anaheim Ducks. Logan Cooley, Troy Terry, and Jake Neighbors on the 1st line. Then we're going to have Mason McTavish, Leo Carlsson, and Seth Jarvis on the 2nd line. We're getting a +5 boost here, +3 on the top line. The bottom 6 is looking better this season. We're going to be able to score goals. The defense is phenomenal. Goaltending's amazing here. All this team has to do is score some more goals. And you know what? Jake Neighbors is going to be able to do that for us. Jake Neighbors is going to single-handedly save this team. Well, we've officially solved all of our problems. A 44-16-4 record at the trade deadline. One of the best offensive teams and the best defensive team. There's no problems with the Anaheim Ducks. We have solved every issue. Logan Cooley, shout out to you for coming to the team. 74 points so far. Troy Terry's got 64. Jake Neighbors moving you up to the 1st line was the greatest decision we've ever made. 55 points so far. Mason McTavish 54. Not gonna lie, with our amazing record, I was expecting the plus minuses to be a bit better, but it doesn't matter. The team's locked in. And because the team's looking so good, we're not making any trades here. But you know what? I completely forgot to look at Gabriel Dag's numbers, and I can guarantee that man's looking like an absolute beast so far. Based on how this team's looking, Gabriel Dag's gotta be leading the way. 38 wins, 2 shots, a 9-12, and a 263. Let's get to the end of the season and win a Stanley Cup. So the Ducks had a strong finish to this season. First in the entire entire league, a 55-23-4 record, but I need to see where our offense ranked in the entire league. We had the third best offense. We had the best defense in the entire league. This team's not going to be able to be stopped. Like, we are virtually the best team in the entire league. There's nobody going to be able to stop us. The offense absolutely flying. Shout out to Jake Neighbors, really turning the team around here. Without Jake Neighbors, we're not going to see this success. When it comes to goaltending, Gabriel Dag, immaculate this season. I can't see us losing to anyone. The only team that we're going to lose to is the Anaheim Ducks, meaning we beat ourselves and we just didn't show up in the postseason. But we all know that's not going to happen here. We have the Dallas Stars in the first round. It's time to start the dynasty. So if the Anaheim Ducks were ever going to win a Stanley Cup, they're going to do it this season. We just need to lock in. Why did we just exchange the first two games? Luckily, we're winning game number 3 here. Don't lose game number 4. Okay, what are we doing? Seriously, what is this team doing? We were supposed to win a Stanley Cup and we're off to game number 5. We can't afford to drop this one. What are we doing? Seriously, what is this team doing? We were supposed to be winning a Stanley Cup this season. We're supposed to certify ourselves as a dynasty, and we're about to lose in the first round to the Dallas Stars. That can't happen here. In the first period, we're going to be picking up 3 goals. We should have this game unless we completely collapse. We're off to game 7. Game 7 in the first round is not a great sign for this team. Like, you have to be kidding me. There is no reason the Anaheim Ducks should be in game 7 right now. We are the best team in the entire league. Jake Neighbors, shout to you. You're holding it down for us. Lone Cooley, Leo Carlson, you guys are great too. Let's just play great defense in the third period, which we're doing, and we're off to the second round. But I'm very concerned about this Anaheim Ducks team. Dallas shouldn't have pushed us to the brink like that. Okay, so we all saw this matchup coming. The Anaheim Ducks taking on the Edmonton Oilers. We have lost to Edmonton too many times in this video. It changes right now. So here we go. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, we're dropping games number 1 and games number 2. We better not be dropping game 3 and game 4. We're going to be responding. A best of 3 moving on here. Are the Anaheim Ducks going to show up? Of course we don't. Why would we ever show up against the Edmonton Oilers? Okay, here we go. We're taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Leon Draisaitl picks up the first goal of the game. We're allowing too many goals in the second period. This game's over. All right, let's get ready for next season. We really lost to the Edmonton Oilers again. We are the best team in the entire league with the third best offense and the best defense, and we allowed way too many goals here. Gabriel Dag choked. I mean, it's not even Gabriel Dag's fault. We just didn't play good enough. Watch Edmonton win a Stanley Cup too. I can guarantee you this team wins the Stanley Cup. So the Edmonton Oilers were 1 game away from winning another Stanley Cup here, but they're going to fall to the Montreal Canadiens. If we could just get past Edmonton, we would have multiple Stanley Cups right now. But nope, we can't get past McDavid. We can't get past Leon Draisaitl. Offensively, it doesn't look like we were just good enough here. Like, we got to be better offensively. And then Gabriel Dag, it's not even like he put up bad numbers. This team just disappeared against Edmonton once again. If we just win against the Edmonton Oilers, and I feel like it shouldn't be that difficult, we'd be Stanley Cup champions. But nope, every single season, year in and year out, we're going to lose to the Edmonton Oilers. And what's going to happen next season? We're going to play Edmonton in the second round, and we're probably going to lose. Because why would we ever beat Edmonton? The best thing that could happen to us is Edmonton somehow doesn't make the playoffs. If Edmonton doesn't make the playoffs, we're Stanley Cup champs. Okay, we are looking at a generational talent, potentially having medium franchise potential. He's probably not going to have it. He'll more than likely just have medium elite. We are looking at a generational talent here, medium elite potential. I mean, it could be worse. Imagine if he was projected to have medium franchise and then somehow dropped to like low top 6. That would be tough. And that's not going to be the only great prospect we're getting, because with the 124th overall, a medium top 6 potential sniper, but he's starting at a 68 overall. The guy that was selected before him, low top 9 and only a 57 overall. So we might have got ourselves another amazing player. Alright, I was fully under the impression I gave Jake Neighbors a deal. Like, I was 99% sure bro accepted that deal. Apparently not, so now we're gonna have to pay him an absolute bag here. That did not work out for us. Jake Neighbors, I was 100% sure I gave you a bag. Apparently not. But here's 8.8 million for the next 3 years, a full no movement clause. I mean, at the end of the day, we are gonna keep you around here, but man, we could have saved a lot of money there. Bystad, you're a good bottom 6 piece, so you know what, I'll keep you on this team. 1.6 million for the next 2. And then when it comes to these rookies right here, this was the year I had a terrible draft, so we're not even going to keep any of them. And then Tarasov, you know what, if you're asking for a reasonable deal, I'll keep you on this team. I'll do 825k for the next 2. Now Denton Matejchuk, I think you could potentially be a top 4 defenseman for us, so here's 5.3 million for the next 6 seasons. If we can keep you around, then we're going to be making a trade with one of our defensemen. Alright, so things are going to be difficult here. We have to make sure that we can re-sign all of these guys right here. Lone Cooley himself is looking for 11.9 million. Now I'm going to hold off on that deal because I want to do multiple years. Mintyukov will keep you on this team, but what are you going to be looking for? 12.8 million. Okay, I'm not too sure if I can do that. So maybe we're going to be losing way more pieces than I thought. Carlo, I think I'm going to trade you away. Provorov, I'm going to trade you away. Both of you guys are 32 years old. Troy Terry, what's your deal going to look like? 10.3 million. Does nobody want to accept a team-friendly deal? Leo Carlson, don't do me dirty here. What are you looking for? See, Leo Carlson's very reasonable. We'll do a negotiation with him. We'll do team-friendly deal. I'll give him a no-movement clause. He'll be sticking around. round. So this is what a reasonable player looks like. Leo Carlsson, $7 million for the next 8 years with a full no movement kicking in year 3. That's a reasonable contract right there, and he's accepting on the dot. So we're basically paying him the exact same amount of money, and he's even better. Now with the way this team's looking, we are going to have to make some moves to free up cap space. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. It's going to be Provorov and Carlo over to the Ottawa Senators. We're going to get Yakimchuk, a young right winger, and 2 second-round picks here. I think this is pretty fair. They're going to be saying no to that one. The only reason this deal is going to be difficult to get done is the fact that we're not fitting their trade block, but eventually we are getting this deal done. So Logan Cooley, I'm going to hold off on your extension. I do plan on bringing you back to the team here, but you have to be a bit more reasonable. I can't be doing just 2 years. Mint Yukov, it's basically the exact same with you. I'm fine with $12 million, but it's got to be longer than 2 years. Troy Terry, I'm really on the verge of trading you. I'm not going to lie. Roger McQueen, if I'm being honest, I think this will probably be your last season with the team, because then you're going to be playing bottom 6 minutes, and I don't really want to give you $7.2 million to play some bottom 6 minutes for us. Now the team might take a slight step back this season because we got to get a bit risky. Troy Terry, I'm going to trade you over to the Seattle Kraken, 90 overall. We're going to be bringing in a young Joe Iginla. Joe Iginla in the future is going to turn into a star player, and you know what? He fits the timeline a bit better than Troy Terry. Troy Terry is going to be aging out pretty quick, so we're bringing in Joe Iginla in a 2nd round pick. To say no to that, I'll give you a 3rd round pick or something. Here's our 3rd round pick for 2030. That should be enough. They're saying no. I guess I have to take the 2nd rounder out. I feel like I should be able to get a couple of draft picks back here. Maybe I can get a 3rd and 4th rounder. If they say no to this, I'll take the 4th rounder out. All right, at least give me a 3rd round pick in this deal. This is more than fair. We're really going 1 for 1 here. We got scammed. So the team might have taken a slight step back losing Troy Terry, but Joe Iginla, he's going to fill the role nicely. He's going to be up to an 88 overall by the end of the season. We're going to be rolling. The bottom 6 is still looking great here. Defensively, Mintyukov and Yakimchuk is the top pairing. No, we're going to do some magical things this season. We're going to be scoring a ton of goals here, and it's going to be led by the defense. And then when it comes to goaltending, 89 overall Gabriel Degg, we already know what he's about. He's going to try to lead us to our 1st Stanley Cup, because we are yet to win a Stanley Cup, and it's getting ridiculous. So I'm going to be honest here. I thought the team would be looking a bit worse at the trade deadline. 4th in the entire league, a 38-20-5 record. With the addition of Joe Iginla, I didn't think the team would be quite as good, but hey, we're still looking pretty solid. Logan Cooley's having himself another great year. He's got 66 points so far. Mason McTavish 59, Seth Jarvis 58, Leo Carlsson's looking great, but Joe Iginla only 33 points so far. I'm expecting more, but you're up to an 84 overall. You've got 1 X factor. We got to give the team a couple years to develop here. We got to give the young guys a bit more time. Jake Neighbors 87 overall. He's going to turn to a superstar, but the big question here is, can we re-sign our big time players? Gabriel Degg, the numbers are looking phenomenal. Tarasov, you've been terrible this season, but it doesn't matter. Gabriel Degg's the guy we rely on. The team's looking good so far. I think we will try to make 1 move at the deadline though. All right, so we're going to make 1 move here. That's to improve the bottom 6. Sonny Milano, I have no clue if you fit on our bottom 6, but we're going to make you fit on the bottom 6. We're giving up 2 seconds for him. So Mint Yukov is up to franchise potential. Bro's turned into an absolute superstar. So of course we have to lock him down. We're going through a negotiation. He's looking for 6 years now, so we can definitely get something done. So we went through intense negotiation with Mint Yukov here. He's looking for 12.4 million. I'm giving him 8.6 with a no movement clause. I think there's actually a really good chance he accepts this. We completely finessed in this deal. So after doing that deal, Logan Cooley, what are you going to be looking for? 11.6 million. Let's try to do the exact same thing. So Logan Cooley, we're going to be saving a bunch of money with you as well. We're saving $2 million, 9.7 for the next 6, and I'm giving you a full no movement as well. So he'll be accepting that one, and then with the money we're saving here, Roger McQueen, you actually might be coming back to the team. So Roger McQueen, you're an incredible bottom 6 piece for us, and with the amount of cap space we have, why not try to do this? Can we do 5.7 for the next 2 years? That would be an incredible deal if we can get it done. So the Anaheim Ducks actually had a pretty strong finish to the season here. We're going to be 4th once again, a 50-25-7 record. The boys are rolling, but Edmonton's 1st in the entire league, so you already know how this is going to go. I refuse to lose to Edmonton once again here though. Like, that's just not going to happen. Cooley, you were great. Mason McTavish, you were great. I really don't care about the scoring on this team. The only thing I care about is whether or not this team shows up in the postseason. Can we beat the Edmonton Oilers? Gabriel Degg, this is one of your best seasons, but it doesn't matter if we don't beat the Edmonton Oilers. We have the Vancouver Canucks in the 1st round. We're going to beat Vancouver, and then we're going to see Edmonton in the 2nd round. We will not lose anymore. So at no point in this postseason run are we going to stop. We're just going to keep on playing games. I'm not looking at the playoff bracket. None of that matters. We are going to take on the Edmonton Oilers in the 2nd round, and we are going to win for once. We have a 2-1 series lead. We're going to be dropping back-to-back games here. Okay, I'm getting very nervous with the team. Don't make it 3 straight games. We're not going to game 6 elimination. We're not doing that. Luckily, we're going to be winning. Take down the Vancouver Canucks here in 6 games, and let's move on to the 2nd round. What are we doing? Why can we not beat Vancouver now? This rebuild with the Anaheim Ducks is really going to be the death of me. Brindley's going to be picking up a goal against Thatcher Demko. Lekkermaki's going to respond. I swear, if we lose in the 3rd period here, I'm going to I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. Like, I got nothing to say. We lost to the Vancouver Canucks because the offense completely vanished. We have so many amazing offensive talents on this team. I don't even care who wins the Stanley Cup. We're going right to the draft. None of this matters anymore. Anaheim, what's it going to take? Can somebody on this team show up in the postseason? I don't even get it anymore. Mint Yukov, I know I just gave you an extension, but you have franchise potential and I could potentially trade you for Connor Bedard. I'm on the verge of doing so. Okay, so Montreal's winning the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row, but I don't care. They probably played the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. You know what? We're going to go check that. We're going to go see if they took on the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. Like, I can almost guarantee you the Edmonton Oilers met the Montreal Canadiens. No, it was the Vancouver Canucks because Vancouver beat us. That's even worse. So I feel like we've seen this before. A medium top 6 potential player in the first round. I'm pretty sure we've drafted guys like that before, and it definitely hasn't backfired on us whatsoever. Because it's not like we do that every single season, then proceed to lose in the first round or in the second round to the Edmonton Oilers. The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If what I'm doing right now isn't the definition of insanity, I don't know what is. We're just going to repeat the exact same thing over and over again, and then eventually we're just going to pray it works out for us. Now, normally I'd be happy about getting a lowly potential player, but it just doesn't matter because that guy right there is not going to help us get past the Edmonton Oilers. So Sonny Milano, you cursed this team. You didn't help us win here, so trading for you was a massive waste of time. Brindley, I'd like to bring you back here, but I can't give you $4.2 million. I'm going to qualify you as an RFA and then we'll trade you away. Back in Annan, I know for a fact I can't keep you on this team. You're looking for a bag, aren't you? $5.6 million. I can't do that. Voronkov, we're just going to let you walk as well because I'm assuming you're looking for way too much. What are you actually looking for? $2.6 million? We can do that actually. But you know what? You actually don't have a good fit here, so I'm going to let you walk. And then with all these young players, I'll sign them to contracts. So we have two important pieces to bring back here. One of them being Zellweger. He's been a great defenseman for us. We're holding off because I'm not doing a 1-year deal. Joe Iginla, can we please do multiple years? We can do this. Joe Iginla is going to be signing the greatest contract imaginable here. We're going to do $4.7 million for the next 5. Now, Lucas Spezza, I think you're going to be joining this team pretty quickly here. So we're going to do $2 million for the next 4 years. You're going to play some third pairing minutes and you'll be on a really cheap contract. Now, this might be the best deal. And Jared Irving, I'm going to give you an extension here. We're going to look at $3 million for the next 3 years. It's a bit more than what you're asking for, but you know what? I want to make sure that you join this team. Now, the reason I'm giving you a 3x3, you're an 84 overall at 22 years old. We're going to be running an elite goaltending tandem for the rest of this video. Now, Gavin Brindley, you played some big minutes for us, but you know what? It's time for a change here. And Seattle has this decent sniper. He has high top 6 potential, 80 overall right now, and I think he can be an elite player for us. They drafted this man 3rd overall. Oh no, that's wild. You did not draft a high top 6 potential player 3rd overall. That is tough. Like, you could have gotten a medium elite potential player, but no, you went for the high top 6. You're bugging. Now, they're continuing to say no to this deal, but you know what? We've probably got some young guys I can throw into a deal. I'll throw Gordon into this deal and then we'll get this done for sure. I'll take the 3rd round pick out. Seattle's going to be accepting that one immediately, and now we're ready to win a Stanley Cup. But I've said that every single year. I've gone insane at this point. So I've reached the point where words won't even describe what I'm thinking when it comes to this team. We all know what we're capable of. We all know what we have to do this season. Just do it. The goaltending has never looked better than this, but goaltending has never been our problem. It's been this right here, scoring. And that's not going to be a problem this season. I think we figured it out. Okay, so I'm on the verge of absolutely losing it with the Anaheim Ducks. What is going on here? This team just completely vanished. 13th in the entire league. What are we doing here? Like, what are we actually doing? I don't even want to look at the scoring. I don't care what Mason McTavish did. I don't care what anyone did. We're not making any trades. This team's going to win. All right, so Anaheim was the best team to finish out the season. We finished 6th in the entire league, a 49-27-6 record. I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. Like, this team looked terrible at the trade deadline. Then every player on the team decided, you know what? We're going to start playing as we should this season. And here we are, 6th in the entire league. Goaltending was a bit of a concern this season, I'm not gonna lie. Gabriel Dag, you let me down. 35 wins, 6 shots, a 900 save percentage, and 285. Bro, where are you? Like, you're an 89 overall goaltender. Irving's an 86. If Irving has to take over, he will, but he shouldn't have to. Now, we got a rematch of last year's first round. We have the Vancouver Canucks in the first round. In the second round, we'll see the Edmonton Oilers. If we can just get past these two teams, we'll win a Stanley Cup. But I guess before we do anything here, before we even jump into this match against the Vancouver Canucks, Zellweger does need a deal. Now, Zellweger, where are you going to be looking for when it comes to a contract extension? We can get something done. Now, if we somehow pull this deal off, this is the greatest finesse of all time. Zellweger, I'm going to give you a full no movement clause. We're keeping you around for the rest of the rebuild here. $5.5 million for the next 8. You're looking for 10.5. I'm offering you 5.5. Ain't no way. Now, that Zellweger contract's only going to look elite if we can start winning here. Game number 1 against the Vancouver Canucks, we're going to be dropping it. Why am I not surprised? Am I really surprised we're losing game number 1 to the Vancouver Canucks? Not at all. We're winning back-to-back games, though. Let's make it 3 straight games. The offense is absolutely flying. Close it out in game 5. Do not go to game 7. Whatever you do, don't go to game 7 here. The boys are finally rolling. Don't lose. Just don't lose to the Edmonton Oilers again. So we've lost way too many big games to the Edmonton Oilers. That's not going to happen again. We won game number 1, win game number 2. Okay, we have a 2-1 series lead. We have a 3-1 series lead. We're not blowing a 3-1 series lead. The Anaheim Ducks are going to move on because we're not going to blow a 3-1 series lead. We actually did it. We made it to the conference finals. No more failing. No more disappointment. We have the Utah Hockey Club up next. Utah was one of the worst teams last season. The Anaheim Ducks are here to win. We dropped game number 1 right after I said that. We are not getting swept. We just about got swept here. We were down 3-0 in the series. We are not losing to Utah. This team was 8th last in the entire league last season. They got the first overall pick, and they're really putting this much pressure to us. We're trailing by 1 goal entering the 3rd period, and in the 3rd period, we're not going to score. We lost to Utah. We are not losing to the Utah Hockey Club. We got past Vancouver. We got past the Edmonton Oilers, only to lose to Utah. I am so sick and tired of this constant disappointment. What is it going to take? And of course, Utah wins the Stanley Cup. Why would that not happen? I just don't know what's wrong with the Anaheim Ducks. I really don't. This team should be so incredibly good, but we're not. Logan Cooley, Seth Jarvis, Jake Neighbors, Mason McTavish, even Shelley performed great. All these guys are looking great. Goaltending was abysmal from Gabriel Degg. Why is our goaltending letting us down? Goaltending has never let us down ever. Gabriel Degg has been elite ever since joining Anaheim. He has never been a concern for this team. When it comes to the postseason, he was great in the first 2 years. Year number 3 wasn't the best, but year number 4, when we have one of our best teams, that's when he's going to fold. I just don't get it anymore. So this was an absolute no-brainer. A goaltender projected in the first round. Of course, we're going with him. He's going to have medium league potential, and he's a gem. So in the re-sign phase, we have nothing to do here, but I will say there's one trade I'm really contemplating right now. Mint Yukov. Now, you're a great defenseman for us, one of the best, no question about it. But if I could hypothetically trade you for Connor Bedard, I mean, I can't trade you, I gave you a no movement clause. What am I talking about? I'm acting like I have this massive plan to trade Mint Yukov. He has a no movement clause, and I gave him that for a reason, because then we could get the salary down an extra $3 million or $4 million. What am I yapping about? Now, there's a handful of really important pieces we got to bring back to the team. One of them being Seth Jarvis. Now, what's he going to be looking for? $11 million for the next 8 years. You already know we can get that contract down. So after a quick negotiation with Seth Jarvis, we're going to be saving $1.5 million here. $10 million for the next 8 years, with him getting a full no movement clause. Moving over to Roger McQueen. This one I'm not too sure about. I think we might just ride out his contract. Like, he's playing bottom 6 minutes right now, and honestly, I don't think he's going to hold the top 6 role. And then when it comes to our man, Jake Neighbors, we're going to get a great deal done here. We're actually going to be paying him pretty similar to what he's getting paid right now. It's going to be $7.2 million for the next 4. So we're actually going to be saving about $1.6 million in this deal. So if we're going to be saving money, why not bring Roger McQueen back to the team? But you know what? We're going to wait a little bit and then ideally do a longer term deal. And I think we're going to do the same with Shelley here. We're just going to hold off for a little bit because I would like to do a long-term deal with him. But you know what? We might be able to do something like this. If we do 3 years at $3.2 million, then keep him around, keep Roger McQueen around, we'll be looking at a great bottom 6. And then, of course, Earl's got to get his big-time deal as well. That's going to be 2.7 for the next 2. So we have a bit of free cap space. We have 9.5 to work with. Alex Tuck will give you like $5 million. Just come play for the team 1 year. I mean, you're 35 years old, but maybe you can help us win a Stanley Cup. I don't even know anymore. So we've seen this before. First in the entire league, 57 wins. I went right to the end of the season. The team was looking that good. Logan Cooley, 98 points here. Mason McTavish, 90 points. Jake Neighbors is picking up 74. He's an 87 overall. Shout out to the St. Louis legend and Jake Neighbors. Gabriel Degg's looking better this season. Irving was a great backup. These boys are ready to compete. Gabriel Degg's back up to an 89 overall. Jared Irving, he's an 87 overall. These are 2 big-time goaltenders we can rely on. Obviously, Gabriel Degg's going to be the starter, but we can't focus on that right now. We can focus on the Utah Hockey Club. That's who we get to take on in the first round. So I refuse to lose to the Utah Hockey Club again. We lost to this team once in the conference finals, and I refuse to do it again. We won game number 1. Game number 2 is going to be huge. We're winning that one. We have 3 straight wins here. Can we make it 4 straight wins and just move on to the second round without having to worry about anything? It finally happened. We won. I cannot stress this enough. Win. We have the San Jose Sharks in the second round. They beat Edmonton. We don't have to play Edmonton, just win. Don't choke. We don't have to play Edmonton. We don't have to play Vancouver. The stars are aligning. Just win. I can't handle another postseason loss. This team has to win eventually. We won game 1. We won game 2. Can we make it 3 games? No, we can't. But we are going to have a 3-1 series lead. Win game number 5. Move on to the conference finals. And let's get ourselves a Stanley Cup. So we beat the San Jose Sharks. We're moving on to the conference finals. I don't know who we're taking on next, but we're going to beat them. We have the Colorado Avalanche. Don't fold. Colorado's going to be a tough task. We're in the conference finals. Every team's going to be tough, but maybe not as tough as I thought. We have a 3-1 series lead, 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final, and here we are, the Stanley Cup final. After years of constant disappointment, we have to show up for 4 more games, and that's exactly what we did. 4 straight games, and we're Stanley Cup champions. This took forever. The Anaheim Ducks finally did. In year number 8 of the rebuild, we're Stanley Cup champions. We were elite during the postseason, 16-2. Seth Jarvis, Logan Cooley, Jake Neighbors, Leo Carlson, Mason McTavish, Roger McQueen, Joe Aginla. All these guys showed up in the big time games, and you know what? So did Gabriel Degg. 16-2, one shot, a 922 and a 243. We have 2 seasons left to win 2 more Stanley Cups. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, although this player isn't going to develop in time for us, this still isn't a bad selection with a 32nd overall, a low lead potential player starting off as a 65 overall. Okay, I just simulated the rest of the draft because there wasn't really that many great prospects available. Plus, none of the guys we draft here are going to develop in time, but we just got a medium elite potential goaltender with the 224th overall pick. So shout out to that guy. He's going to be a great trade asset. So we have $10 million. Roger McQueen's looking for a deal here, and what's that going to be? $10 million. We can't do that, Roger. Qualifying you as an RFA. You're gonna have to get traded away here. You've played some big moments for this team, but we just can't do it. We will re-sign Cole though. I've played him as a left wing so far for a majority of this video, even though he's a center. But you know what? It doesn't matter. He's been a lead on that left wing, so he's gonna be sticking around for the next 2. Alright, so I think ideally I'd like to rock the exact same team for the next 2 years. Yakimchuk's up to franchise potential, so I'm not really too sure if we're gonna be able to re-sign him because he's gonna look for a bag here. We have $20 million in cap space, and he wants $11 million. Let's negotiate that down. So after some tough negotiations, Yakimchuk, 1 year, $7 million. That will keep you around for the rest of the rebuild, only paying you $2 million more than what you're getting paid right now. That's going to make it very easy to keep the same players around. So Yakimchuk's not going to be the only guy coming back to the team. Mason McTavish, you're going to be returning as well. It's going to be 9.4 for the next 7, but we really only need you for next season. Bystad, you continue to be an elite bottom 6 player for us, so I'm going to keep you on this team as well. It's going to be $2 million for next season. Alright, so Roger McQueen, you played some big minutes for this team, and you've been a great player, but now it's time for us to move on. You're 91 overall. We're going to get Lander. We're going to get Lockhart. 2 guys that are going to help us win immediately. Lander's going to be sticking around for the next 2 years. Lockhart will probably only be on the team for this season. I mean, ideally, we can lock him down to a pretty cheap contract, but I don't think we'll be able to. So besides Lockhart, it's going to be the exact same team next season. The Anaheim Ducks should have won one a long time ago, but no, we're not going to talk about it. The forward core, elite. The defense, immaculate. Out of our top 4 right now, Matejchuk's the lowest overall in 89, and that makes no sense. There's no reason our defense should be this good. And then when it comes to goaltending, Gabriel Degg, 90 overall. Irving's an 87. It's time for 2 more Stanley Cups. We're completing a 3-peat here. So I tried something new at this season. At the beginning of the year, I always have a conversation with our coach, and I always set it to 5-on-5 focus for our preseason goal. That ups offensive awareness, and that ups defensive awareness. The last 2 seasons, I focused on goaltending and getting our goaltending better than ever. Yeah, it was pretty good. No other team is even close to our defense right now. So you might be wondering, with me up in the goaltending, where are goaltenders overall sitting at? Because it's gotten a bit ridiculous here. Now you can see we have a couple of guys with negative plus minuses, and that's not what we're looking for here. But don't worry, because we have 2 elite goaltenders that can bail us out. 92 overall Gabriel Degg, 89 overall Jared Irving. Yeah, we've kind of broken the game when it comes to goaltending. We have 2 amazing goaltenders locked down to 2 incredible deals right now. There is no reason we should be this good. We're going to be taking on the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round. In the second round, you know who we're taking on. And then the conference finals, you also know who we're taking on. We're taking on Vegas first, Edmonton second round, Vancouver Canucks conference finals. That's my prediction. But we have to take it 1 round at a time, and we're dropping game number 1. Don't drop back-to-back games here. Alright, we're going to be responding with 2 massive wins. Can we win in game number 4 here? Yes, we can. Can we close out in a 5-game series, move on to the second round, and take on the Oilers? It looks like that's going to be happening. So I don't know what's going on here, but I guess we have another Stanley Cup in our future. Edmonton's losing in the first round. Things are just going our way. So now that Seattle's taking down the Edmonton Oilers for us, I'm not concerned. I am very concerned now. What's going on? 3-1 series. Great work, team. At this point, I'm actually fully convinced it doesn't matter if we have all 99 overalls or not. This team's just bound to lose, and you know why? They're the Anaheim Ducks. This team will find a way to lose, but we are off to game 6. Now, if we want a 3-peat to finish this video off, we have to come up huge here. We're picking up 2 goals in the first period. We're exchanging goals in the second. Hold it down in the third period, and we'll be all right here. We're off to game 7. Shout out to Logan Cooley. I think he had a hat trick in this game. Did he have a hat trick? No, he didn't, but he showed up in the third period, picked up 2 massive goals. Bro is a stud for us. So here we go, game 7. We have worked our way back to this point. Okay, what are we doing? allowing 3. Yeah, no, this game's over. We made it to game 7 only for you guys to get blown out in this game. We allowed 5 goals in the first 2 periods. We were down 3-1 in the series, had been playing great defense, and then we allowed 5 goals in 2 periods. We were supposed to three-peat to finish this video off, but we're losing in game 7. We have 1 more year to win a Stanley Cup. We're going to be rocking the exact same team, except we're making 1 trade. Lockhart has to be traded away. We don't have enough money for him. But yeah, I'm fully convinced at this point. It doesn't matter how good our team is. We are bound to lose just because we're the Anaheim Ducks. So I went through a negotiation with Tom Lockhart, and you know what? It turns out we are going to have enough money to bring back to the team. $5.8 million for next season. Apparently he's not interested in an extension, but you know what? That's perfectly fine. We're still going to get this deal done. All right, we have 1 final season. Now we lost in the second round, so what did I do? Absolutely nothing. We're rocking the exact same team. This team should be able to win a Stanley Cup. We are good enough to win a Stanley Cup. We've won 1 Stanley Cup so far, and we should have won a lot more. We're rocking 92 overall Gabriel Degg, 89 overall Jared Irving. This team's virtually unstoppable. So that's back-to-back seasons now. We're first in the entire league. The big difference this year, we were scoring a lot more goals. The offense was absolutely flying. Goaltending wasn't quite as good. But you know what? We can rely on our goaltenders. Just look at the plus minuses. That's the big difference maker here. Last season, a couple guys struggled. Wasn't Mason McTavish like -5 or something? Pro was -5 last season. Now he's plus 36. So that's a huge upgrade for us. We're going to be looking great. Gabriel Degg's still putting up great numbers. Irving's putting up great numbers here. But we need you guys to put up great numbers in the postseason. I need every player on this team to step up. We won't have to take on the Edmonton Oilers till the conference finals, but we might have to take Seattle on the second round. Just win 1 more Stanley Cup to finish this video off. The Anaheim Ducks have gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. We've gone through a lot of hardship. But you know what? Things are changing. We're up 2-1 in the series right now, moving into game number 4, and we're going to be winning that one. It's going to be a nice 5-game series, then we're going to be moving on here. I really need to sneeze, but I'm holding it in. We won 6-2. Now, Edmonton lost in the first round, but that doesn't change the fact that we have to take on Seattle. This team's got to step up. All right, we're not losing to Seattle again. We're going to shut them out in game number 1, but we're going to be dropping game number 2. We're dropping game number 3. Don't lose game 4. Whatever you do, don't lose game. I hate this team. I hate the Anaheim Ducks so much. Why can this team not win? We need all 99 overall players, and that probably still won't be enough. What's going to happen in the first period? We're going to score 4 goals. I'm going to simulate the rest of this game. Watch us somehow lose. Okay, we won 9-3. Yeah, we were pretty dominant, I guess. Now, the only concern I have is the fact that we scored 9 goals in the last game. Watch the offense completely dry up. We're exchanging goals in the first period. It's going to be a scoreless second. I already know how this is going to end. We're somehow going to make it to game 7, then we're going to lose. Like, the Anaheim Ducks have got my hopes up, so I'm assuming we're about to make a big 3-1 series comeback, and then watch the massive collapse coming up. 2 goals going to be scored by Seattle in the second period. Then in the third period, we're going to lose because Berkeley Catton's going to score a goal with 2:30 left in the game. Just like that, the rebuild's complete. We won 1 Stanley Cup over the last 10 years, but we've been a dominant team for the last 5 years. We just never figured it out. I don't care who wins this final Stanley Cup. Why could we never win in the most important games? It just doesn't make sense to me. Offensively, we were a really good team, like one of the best teams in the league. When it comes to the goaltending, we had an elite goaltender in Gabriel Degg, 92 overall, franchise potential now. There's not too much more we could have asked for. Like, seriously, there's not too much more. Leo Carlson, 90 overall. Joe Aginla, 88 overall. Seth Jarvis, 83 overall. Jake Neighbors, 86 overall. Mason McTavish, 90 overall. Logan Cooley, 94 overall franchise potential. Cole's up to an 86. Lockhart's up to an 87. Mint Yukov is a 96 overall. He is a 96 overall. Matejchuk's at 89 overall. What are the rest of the defensemen looking like? Christian Kyrou, he's an 85 overall. Spets, what was he? He was an 82, but he was playing bottom pairing minutes. Carter Yakimchuk, you were supposed to be a top defenseman on this team. 92 overall, bro picked up 3 points. Zellweger, an offensive defenseman, 92 overall, picked up 3 points. I got nothing to say. 87 overall Lander picked up the least amount of points here, and he picked up 2. You're telling me basically a team full of virtually 85 overalls and above and 92 overalls and above when it comes to the defense couldn't win more than 1 Stanley Cup? I just give up with this team.